Be here. So I'm Melanie Clark, you can call me Mel. I reside in Brooklyn. I am the program activation lead at Switch for our East Coast team. And so I've been at Switch for a little over 4 years now. I specifically work within our brand partnership studios. That's where we create all of our sponsored streams and really get to have that personal interaction with streamers. So if you see a streamer doing a stream sponsored by any brand, McDonald's for instance, that is a part of the team that I'm working on, and we can bring those opportunities to life. So I'm honored to be here. First and foremost, it's a blessing. I'm excited to meet every single person here. And Keisha, thank you so much for creating this organization and providing these opportunities for us all to connect. So happy to be here.
Thank you. Jessica.
Awesome, thanks. Hey everyone, I'm Jessica. You can call me Jazz. I am an international peace builder turned game designer, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Wicked Snake Studios. We create games that are wickedly fun, actively good. We are the first team out of Niantic Labs Incubator. Who knows Pokemon Go?
Of course, you already know.
So Niantic, they're the makers of Pokemon Go. And we came out of there with the first game of its kind. It's called World Reborn. It's the world's first adventure activism game. It's real fantasy. So your real actions that you take in real life actually fuel your power to win the game. And so we are backed by Riot Games. And we have co-founders from Discord. We're venture backed. And now I'm raising a second round, and Riot Games is leading the way again for coding. And so, yes, that's me. Happy, excited to talk to you more. Oh, and those favors outside are mine. Feel free to take one.
Awesome. And I love Riot Games. They're partners as well with BCGA. For those of you who don't know, they make Valorant and LOL. So appreciate, I love the support. They've done a great job with diversity. One of their former executives and one of our BCGA Advisory Board members, Angela Roseborough, has been phenomenal for the work that she's doing to continue to diversify the space. She just left Riot Games and is now starting her own company and is doing consulting so she can reach and help to continue to move the needle across the gaming industry. So we always appreciate their support. Okay, so our first question is, what brought you into the gaming industry? Oh, Ryan, introduce yourself. I'm going to go straight to the questions. Apologies.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jabari. I was a systems designer at Skydance Interactive. Okay, here we go. Okay. What's up, everybody? My name is Jabari. I was a systems designer at Skydance Interactive. You probably know us for Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners Retribution. Just launched on Oculus and VR platforms, sponsored by Meta. That was exciting. But I am now the Oakland site director for the Hidden Genius Project. So for those of you who do not know about the Hidden Genius Project, we train and mentor Black male youth in technology creation, entrepreneurship, and leadership skills to transform their lives and communities. We have been operating for 10 years, over 10 years, and have served over 9,000 youth. Something special about us is that we work in a lot of different verticals, not just gaming, everything from web, robotics, and our students not only get paid to be in our program, but then we also pay them to go out and teach what they learn at schools. And then we also set them up with jobs in their industries. And sometimes we even hire them to work for us. And we've already done that with a few of the geniuses as well. We are very excited to be a part of this panel. And definitely, if you're looking to get into gaming, something I forgot to mention too, we actually have our own game studio as well that's run by alumni of our program. That's sponsored by various different, we have a lot of big partners, everything from Intel to Unreal to you name it. So if you want to get into gaming, definitely let me know. If you're in high school, you want to learn it. If you just graduated, you want to teach it, or you want to get a job working on games, definitely let me know. I'm very excited to be here, and thank you for bringing me.
Thank you. So how many of you are on Twitch?
Of course.
11. Awesome. So the first question is, what brought you into the games industry? Let's start with you, Melanie.
Okay, so my path was not traditional, definitely not linear. I started out, also I did not mention this, I'm a proud HBCU alum as well, Howard University.
HBCU?
No, exactly. So for me, graduating college, I started out within the fashion and beauty industry. So I was interning for a celebrity wardrobe stylist and wasn't getting compensated for that. I was like, kind of need to make a living now that I've graduated college. So transitioned into beauty and managing social media channels there. And then that role led me to managing influencer marketing campaigns at a global ad agency. So I did that, all of that collectively for like almost 7 years. Then I had that itch, knew I wanted to just switch things up, be challenged. And with all my experience in brand partnerships, I saw an opportunity at Switch that was somewhat in that realm. And so when I got in there, I was like, oh, okay, so I've worked with brands and all these different types of like agency, actual like corporate, and now like working for a service within the social media sphere. I was like, okay, well, this could probably work. And so for me, that's how I got into gaming. And it was just, it's not only gaming, but I am in the gaming industry. And again, it's so much more than that. So I get to touch so many different verticals in music, sports, entertainment, cooking, art, you name it. So for me, that's I'm in that world, but I touch a lot of other areas too.
Awesome. Thank you. A couple more housekeeping notes. So if you have a question, you want to come up and ask. We want this to be interactive. We want this to be engaging. I know a lot of times you can't wait or you may forget. So if you have a question, when you hear something, don't be afraid to hop up and ask and introduce yourself and give us your question or thoughts. Okay?
Awesome. So I also had an interesting journey into gaming. So my first love is stories. I love a good story, and I've always thought that stories have changed the world. And so I got my start doing awareness campaigns out of college. I went to school for journalism and international relations. Oh, look at everybody. Hello.
Welcome.
I know.
Welcome. Yeah, we got seats in the front. Don't be afraid. We are all family and welcome to everyone. Excited to have you. We are right now on the Black Gamers Matter panel.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I won't say welcome back. Welcome. All right. So, how did I get into gaming? So, my first love was stories. I went to school for journalism, international relations. Right out of college, I started working for a local television station, and I was doing awareness campaigns. So that means like anti-domestic abuse, anti-sexual abuse, anti-drug abuse, all that kind of stuff. And what I found is I was telling a lot of stories of bad things after they happened. And I was like, man, how do you stop bad things from happening in the first place? And I found my answer at Switch from the ground. It's the world's largest dedicated peace building organization, has offices all over the world. And they do this kind of thing where they believe that our inability to do a difference stops us from making progress on every issue we face. So like whatever you care about, race, poverty, whatever, we have to be able to collaboratively problem solve in order to fix these things. And so that's where I learned what I call common ground activism, so how to attack the problem, not the person. And it was really powerful. And so I searched for common ground, hired me to do marketing, and instead I ended up catalyzing movements. So in a sea of Ivy League master degrees and brilliant intellectuals, I was a scholarship athlete kid, wild child, storyteller, and I saw things from a different angle, and that was my advantage. And pretty soon, the VP of strategy began sending me out to the field to train young movement leaders all over the world. And so whether I arrived in Burundi, who suffered multiple genocides, coups, devastating poverty, or I arrived in Colombia after 60 years of brutal civil war, or Myanmar that had decades of authoritarian oppression, or just American classroom filled with high school students, I knew that I could get them to have fun, despite the hardships. I could get them to have fun. It would unlock their world of possibilities and blow up whatever box circumstances force them into. Ultimately, turning the tide of violence. And so I didn't know it then, but I was designing gameplay. With every ridiculous activity I came up with, I was tapping into player motivations. So like challenge, discovery, expression, everything we use to increase the pleasure and anticipation of games. And so storytelling is a really powerful tool because behavior change doesn't happen by just giving people information, unfortunately. It happens through experiences. And so stories are a really powerful way that you can have an experience that you've never been able to have before. But the amazing thing about gameplay is what we found is that I've been talking with young people all over the world and trying to get them to understand how powerful they are, and many times they don't understand that they're powerful. And self-efficacy, which means your belief in your own ability to accomplish a goal, is the #1 indicator whether you'll take action. Because if you actually believe that you can accomplish it, if you believe you can do something, it's the #1 indicator that you'll do something. So when you play a game, every time you go around that core game loop, you get a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better. What are you doing? You're gaining mastery. You're actually becoming powerful in that, right? You're moving up levels, you're becoming powerful, you feel good, and then you stop playing, and reality comes crashing back in, you're just your same old self. And so that's what inspired us at Wicked Saints to create World Reborn. It's like we want to create a game where as you power up within the game, like your own resilience, dealing with relationships, mental wellness, just becoming strong to like make whatever change you want in the world, all that power you gain within the game actually starts to bleed into your real life. And so that's how I got into games and why I believe games are so incredibly powerful.
I love that. Thank you. So we got a question.
Hello, I'm Jared Summerlot. I'm an 11th grader at Charles Herbert Flowers, and I was just wondering about getting into the gaming industry. Is there any like really good resources or like places to learn and start with like game design and game development?
Great question. Let's start with Jabari. And then you can wrap your answer in that as well, if you don't mind.
Okay, cool. So I will start with the answer to your question, which is I recommend doing it how I did it. Well, first I would say there's a lot of ways to do it, right? Most people's entry, I think, has been kind of unorthodox. There's no set path, but I would say YouTube, honestly. There are a lot of great YouTubers that teach game design. I would start without trying to make a whole game, just trying to make something happen, right? I would say maybe do Unity. There are a couple of great YouTube channels. You got, who is that? Brackies is a great one. Gold Monkey's another great one. I wouldn't try to make a whole game. I would try just to start making something happen on the screen. Maybe, how do I make a cube move? The group that I had was like 9 of us, and we did this game called Hungry Dragons, and raised a bunch of money for Children's Hospital. It was super exciting, and so we decided to stay together and like keep doing stuff. And that's when I started to teach myself other things, like, oh, okay, let's learn how to do design, let's learn how to do coding, and everything little by little. But yeah, I would say #1, just go to YouTube, look up little things, and yeah.
Jabari, real quick, let me ask the crowd a couple questions. So how many of you are interested in doing music or do music now, would like to put music in video games, your favorite games? Anybody? Show of hands. Couple? Who wants to game design? Okay, so you got 2 people up here to do game design and music. So during the networking mixer, after you get a chance to eat and while you're eating, make sure you talk to. We're gonna have some breakout sections. We call it a networking mixer. So have a chance to talk with them in a smaller setting. If you're not comfortable asking a question right now, what I told everyone earlier for the new young people, students and minds in the building, don't be afraid to ask a question. Walk up to the mic. Please tell us your name, your classification, and what brought you here today. And then, like I said, for those of you who are not interested in going to the mic for whatever reason, the networking mixer will be here. You can talk to any of the amazing individuals you're going to hear and see today, and talk to them in a smaller setting in a one-on-one area this evening, later today, and talk to them about, ask whatever questions you may have as well. And then my recommendation, what I did, is I thought about my 3 favorite console systems, my 3 favorite video games. I reached out to them on LinkedIn. Because when I started my Collegiate Gaming Association in May 2020, I said, hey, I need you to help me make history. So I was the first black woman to have a collegiate gaming esports company in 2020. I'm like, wait, just 3 years ago, you can't tell me no one in the world has done this before. And I'm like, well, not me, then who? So why not do it? And so that's how I got started. I reached out to them and said, I need you to help me make history. I need you to support me. I'm interested in you being a part of my movement to get more people that look like me in the space. And people started responding. And those that didn't, I was like, oh well, we give them a couple of weeks, get back at it. So, think about the games you like, the people you like to follow, the games like the systems you like to use, and reach out to those individuals, find the designer who made them, and say, hey, I'm interested in getting in this space. Ask for tips, ask for advice.
A lot of game industry folks come up through QA, quality assurance, and so you can get internships. You can do so basically what quality assurance is like they pay you to play games and you find things that go wrong in games. And that is a complete job that I currently am paying someone to do.
So you said they get paid?
Yeah,
they get paid to do that.
They get
yes, sir, they get paid right now.
Yeah, it's a career. It's a great career. A lot of people move up through that. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. There's a lot of different resources out there. Yes, there's so many resources out there with like International Game Development Association and things like that. We can go find lots of stuff. And then there's other companies doing things as well. So Jabari is, and then like even our studio, Wicked Sync Studios, we want to build our game with our community of young people. And so we've opened up our Discord. I think there's like something I'm going to show later to like join. But what we're going to be doing is showing behind the scenes of like how we're building our game. Our narrative director, who's like done like AAA games for Marvel and written for Owl House, he's going to do fictional worlds on Monday, and just like with our Discord group. And so there's lots of different. I think more and more studios are just going to open up and show like behind the scenes that you can just jump into and just start learning from there as well.
I think the biggest thing is always trying to create opportunities where we're putting a spotlight on Black streamers specifically, or streamers of color, and also organizations like BCGA that are doing things of how can we partner and highlight the positive things that are already happening. So with me sitting within the advertising world, we get to like create these opportunities with like sponsorship deals with these brands and like basically get some of these Black streamers on front page of Twitch, which is like prime real estate, right? So like you want to be there, all the eyeballs are there, but it's like a double-edged sword because with that you have to keep safety measures in mind. And so I think a lot of just how do we create a safe environment is a part of that goal, and it's something that's always constantly being tweaked, trying to figure out, like, I'm sure some of you out who are on Twitch know, it's like all the craziness that can happen in chat, just like hateful slurs and just things that are just unacceptable, right? So like, how do we combat that? And so there are teams, like, but besides our streamers who have moderation support, we also have teams internally at Twitch that is their role responsibility, is to try to figure out how to moderate even better so that we're creating a safe space. So we want to give the spotlight, but also make sure that it's a safe environment to do so at the same time.
Thank you. And our last question is, where do you see the gaming industry in 5 to 10 years? Whether that's key players, industry trends, or growth in the United States and or internationally. And we'll start with Jabari.
Wow, that question is like coming out full. Where do I see the industry? Well, I mean, I think the first thing is it's not going in one direction. It's going in a lot of directions. All you got to do is open your phone and turn on your TV or whatever your media device is, and you know that gaming is taking over everything. Right, so that's first of all. Everything is getting gamified, I guess you would say. So what direction it's going? It's going in a direction where it's going to be a part of, it's going to touch almost everybody anywhere some type of way. If you're playing games on your phone, or you're playing games on your VR device, or whatever the case may be, you're playing games on the flight or in your car, or whatever, they're everywhere. But also, like we were starting to get to, is there's a lot of ways to be involved in gaming. You know, you can be a designer, you can be a streamer, a content creator. There's so many different, maybe you're just working in media reporting on the game. So I think it's going to become a lot more prevalent in just what we see. Also a lot more interactive and cooperative. So one of the trends that I'm noticing is multiplayer games, specifically cooperative multiplayer games, are definitely on the rise. So people are going to see a lot more of that, a lot more immersion, especially with this virtual reality, augmented reality, these types of things where it feels a little bit more visceral. I think games are going to become a lot more accessible. We've seen a lot more of this free to play, or play to earn, all this types of stuff. And we've also seen a lot of conflict with these aggressive business models, and the game costs like $100 or something, and then you got to pay $10 a month, and you got to pay $5 to get the gym or the outfit, and like people are tired of that. So I think games are going to become a lot more affordable, a lot more accessible, and also because of the rise of technology, you're going to have a lot more indie studios, or just one-person studios or whatever, because you have all these things, the Unity or the Godot or whatever, and the people on YouTube teaching it, and the Discord helping people, and all these different organizations. So you're going to get a lot more smaller studios that are able to be successful and stand on their own, and even like one-person studios, etc. So I think we're going to have a lot more games, a lot more smaller games, and we're also just going to be a lot more welcoming to that space.
Awesome. Jessica? I don't know, you want to answer? Oh, no. Okay. Jessica?
Yeah, so I have, I completely agree with everything you're saying. Like, we're using augmented reality right now in our game. And so the technology this is where the innovation is.
Wait, does everybody know what augmented reality is? Anybody?
Yeah. Because it's more like creativity, it's like the intersection of creativity and technology, which is really cool. And just to say some numbers on this, because I am raising money right now, venture capital, so I have numbers in my head.
Yes.
So SaaS companies are like software as a service. Like this is like big companies. Like you're like, oh, those companies make so much money. So those companies are projected to make $200 billion in 2023.
200 billion with a B.
With a B. The game industry is projected to do 388 billion. 388 billion.
That's more than half.
In 2023, and then it's supposed to hit up to 562 billion by 2026. I don't know when you guys are graduating, but just to say, like, because I was recently just talking at a Black investor, Black VC, this panel that has all Black investors all over the world, and it's really interesting because because very few Black investors invest in gaming, and one of the reasons why is because gaming industry is only 2% Black. But guess what? The Black population plays more games than the average population. And guess what? Women gamers is now half the population of gamers. Half. And guess what? Mobile games, which makes up half of the revenue of the whole game industry, is 55% women.
Another opportunity too. We talk about video gaming, but the mobile phone game space is huge. So for those of you that haven't thought about it, look into mobile phone game design, working in the mobile phone game. My mom is 71 and she plays Candy Crush every single day. So that it covers generations. And my mom told me she's not a gamer, so I said, well, I can't tell, you play every day. And then she's like, oh wait, this is gaming? Yes it is. So it's, think about that. And everybody's got a cell phone. So that's a whole different space. And this is an industry that's less than 2% Black and less than 0.5% women of color. And you're hearing all these layoffs and reductions in jobs. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, have you heard any gaming company say they were laying somebody off? So tell your parents, I'm staying in this space because I can work in this space and I can get paid. Yes, sir. Look up to the mic for me.
Yeah, just say, we're in the mobile game space and people don't think about mobile. It's literally half that revenue I was talking about, 565 billion, half that will go to mobile games. That's the space that we're in.
Yes, sir.
My name is Sean. I go to Charles Herbert Flowers High School. I'm in 11th grade. I'm kind of newly enrolled at community college, so my major is cybersecurity. Thank you. But firstly, I wanted to say thank you, especially to the black professionals in this field, like you guys, especially thank you to BCGA. How rare it is for Black professionals to be in the field of gaming, less than 2%. What have you guys done to kind of navigate that space as the lone Black person in the office?
Well, first of all, we keep making asks and requests, and they're stepping up. Always starting with McDonald's, who came into the gaming space. Everybody like McDonald's, fast food and gaming, and that's how big gaming is right now. Because when you're sitting at home playing a video game, you gotta eat. And McDonald's figured that out. When they're hiring, they've got a whole gaming division at McDonald's. The DMV Gaming, the DMV group is representing. And the reason why we're here today, so I want to thank McDonald's, Gen G, who is our other partner on today. They're the professional gaming industry space, and they know there's an opportunity to get more people to look like us in this space. And so they stepped up and allowed us to have this platform today. The other thing we're doing too is we're going to our corporate partners. We're saying Riot Games, EA, Sony PlayStation, Intel, Lenovo. We need you to hire more people to look like us. And what can you do to help us do that? So we're doing it through Google Play. We got a webinar coming up on April 18th, Dan. April 18th for Google Play. And they've got all kinds of job opportunities. They're going to be talking about the jobs that exist. Google Play is one of the biggest mobile phone gaming platforms you can go to access mobile phone games that are out there. And they're hiring and they're providing. We're going to do a mobile phone game creation contest with them and Scopely. And Scopely is a company that creates a lot of mobile phone games too. They hired a chief diversity officer. She's like, you know what? I've got to get more people in here to look like me. She's a black female that went to family older than me. And she's like, we want to do something to change the game and to diversify the space. So our QR code is outside. If you're interested in the space, you can download your resume on our portal anytime today or later on. And we will continue to get resumes from the people who make the decisions to hire more people who look like that. Any question for Jabari and Jessica? Which one? Let's take it.
Yeah, no, so I love the creative part. It's my favorite part. And one thing that I think is really important is like your team, like actually who makes it. And so a lot of times when you're making something, you fall in love with your product. And you're like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. But all that really matters is that like your audience loves the product, right? And so one of the best things that I think you can do is really have a diverse team. Because everyone that brings in something different it brings in something special. And if you're just getting started creatively, what I would suggest is ask yourself some what if questions. So if you're building a fictional world, fictional characters, that kind of thing, what you can do is ask what if. Like, what if everybody looked the same? What if, what if aliens can know? Like, what if some of these what if questions, what they can do is you can start being like, what if you put human nature in a world where everything was like this? What could happen with human nature and what would happen with it? You can start getting really creative. And so obviously I come from a story kind of perspective. And that's how I kind of come up with some of the unique things is ask what if and then developing characters. Just make sure that you have characters, think about their backstory, and then don't just have a character that's good or bad, have them have both sides of it. Just make people really interesting and then you just start going from there. So it's so fun. Okay.
So definitely feel you there, especially on the diverse teams, right? And that's why I really want to, touch on that point of it's really important to have not just black people, definitely black people in the industry, but just in general diversity in the game industry, because that's how you get unique ideas, right? If everybody in the lab making the game. So I would say, start from looking at something that's just satisfying or at least invokes a certain emotion outside of games and be like, okay, how can I capture that moment? And then reproduce that moment through a controller, through a game system. Thank you.
Thank you so much.